check 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. Come on. That's right. Okay. Can you hear me now? Oh, let's go. It's your boy Big Chew, the voice of the beat.
You know what I won't
blaze up.
Come on, blaze up.
It's the beat for me.
Wah 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 for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we are. For your boy, for your boy, for your boy, for your boy. Hustle for your boy, fix it for your boy. Drop it for your wah 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 wah. Lift it up, Then it bust it open, lift it up, yeah. Come on, lift it up. Then it bust it open for your B-O-Y. Bend it, for you, rock it for you, lift it up, baby. Mix it with your bust or not.
Come on, blaze. So you know.
Drop me a nasty beat.
Hello. What's going on? You guys, I'm trying to fix Twitch. Twitch is saying that my title is a little different. Let me just hold on. I'm trying to fix my title because I want Twitch on here too, you guys. Y'all know I have people over on Twitch and I don't understand why it's being weird. If that makes sense. I don't know what's going on Twitch. Let me check on my phone and see what Twitch is saying. But how y'all doing? Welcome to Educational Friday. You guys are nothing short of amazing. Thank y'all so much for being here. And today we're going to discuss Negro history, not like Black history. Black history is what they teach you. That's all a bunch of bull. We're going to discuss Negro history. This is a big deal. I don't know why it's saying, hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. Maybe if I take it off, remove, and then put it back on. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm so sorry. I want Twitch on here. Sorry, y'all. I just gotta. Twitch says the title is invalid. Does it not like the word Negro? Like, what's going on? Educational Friday. Let me try like this. 1 second, y'all. Give me a second. I'm so sorry. How about I take this whole part off? Let's say Educational Friday. Let me see what it does. See if it'll take that. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. Happy Friday to each and every one of you. It's not taking, and nope, it's not taking. I don't understand. Videos. I don't understand, y'all. I hate that for Educational Friday. Maybe if I go live from another device. Let me see. I might have to go live from another device. But how y'all doing on Friday? Let me see if you're on Twitch. Give me 1 second, y'all. You're about to view a stream. Yes, continue to watch. What is it doing? I'm so sorry, you guys. It's live on. I may have to continue this one without Twitch. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I might have to continue this off of Twitch because I can't get it on here and I don't want to hold up the Educational Friday. So we just gonna have to go with what it is. We got to go with the move. Have y'all liked the video? Have you or a friend liked the video, please? Let's check the likes on here. Sorry, Twitch. I tried, y'all. Sorry. We got 79 likes and 114 people in here. That's decent. I would sure appreciate y'all if y'all would like the videos, if the ones who have not already. Let's get into Educational Friday, okay? We got to talk about some things. We got to discuss a few things, okay? Hey, Auntie, I received your generous cash app. Thank you so much. Twitch is strict. Maybe it's because I put Negro in the title. Maybe, let me try that. Let me take Negro out of the title. But I thought Twitch was kind of more like, I would have thought they would have been more relaxed than, I don't know. I don't know. It's just still not letting me. But I'm so glad everybody who's here is here. Like I said, my apologies for the people who can't get through to Twitch. It's something that I did. You know, I don't know. Maybe they don't like the word Negro. I don't know. It's a scary word for certain people or certain platforms. But let me just say this. We're gonna talk about Negro history, right? Now, my hair look bad. I had braided in the back, girl. Yes, I did. Shout out to everybody who sent me a cash app. I didn't check it until after I got off. Shout out to everybody who sent me a cash app. If you guys would like to support the channel, that is the way to do it. We do not have a we're not monetized at the moment. So I have no other way to receive any sort of support from you guys, only through Cash App right now. We will be working on other ways of supporting. But right now, supporting is just liking the video, getting this video in the algorithm. But Tanya, I said Negro. I didn't say the N-word, and I've been saying that a while. They did? I thought Twitch was more lax. Straight to take, hey Voodoo and chat, listening from the plantation, girl. We all on the plantation, girl. We all are on the plantation. I did the whole live last time and didn't even realize the damn mic wasn't on. Let's get into it. So you guys, when it comes to Negro history, let's talk about Negro history. Right? We are in a month that they have deemed Black History Month. Even though in Black History Month, like we said in the past few Fridays, the Black History Month only consists of Martin Luther King, aka Mike over here. They also consist of a little sprinkle of Rosa Parks. If you lucky, they'll mention Malcolm X, but make him seem like he was the worst man who walked on the earth. And what we've come to realize through Educational Friday is Malcolm is who we thought Martin was. Well, Martin is who we thought Malcolm was, and Malcolm is who we thought Martin was. If it makes sense. The personas are switched, right? We were taught that Malcolm X was this revolutionary person who was anti everything but Black. He was a nationalist. He was this, he was that. All a bunch of hogwash. That's what they did to get us to get off his scent, because they knew that if we were to follow someone like a Malcolm X, we would literally be in a situation where we'd be further. I'll just say that, but a lot of those things, like I said, we weren't taught in school. We were taught that Martin was the best and Malcolm was the worst. And you have to always ask yourself, why do they uplift one and tear down the other? Think about that. Because when you really think about it, both of them were pro-Black. So, well, not really. Martin really wasn't pro-Black. He was pro-everybody. That's why he had us over there holding hands singing in the old Negro spiritual. But that's not why we're here. I'm just using that as a prequel to what we're going to speak about. Now, before we get into this, let me say this part. Okay? I have to get into this part. So, are you guys familiar with a content creator? God have mercy. Are you guys familiar with a woman by the name of Fannie Lou Hamer? The one in the chat, if you know who Fannie Lou Hamer is. Fannie Lou Hamer is a Black woman who was a sharecropper. She was a sharecropper in the state of Mississippi. She was one of the women who spearheaded the voting rights for Black people in Mississippi, okay? She was that girl. Fannie Lou Hamer is who they told you Martin Luther King was. That's what they did. They co-opted. Listen to what I'm saying. The media co-opted Black struggles and Black grassroots projects and basically gave them to media presence like your Malcolm X's, your Rosa Parks, all these people to make them seem like it's their idea, NAACP. And it was all the furthest thing from the truth. The people who were working, if y'all don't know what grassroots is the bottom up. That's the people out in your neighborhood right now. Y'all know the people y'all might deem to be crazy, that they always hollering and screaming. They always at a city council meeting. They always acting a fool behind something that's going on in the city. Even though they may be right, a lot of us might still be like, oh, well, this person crazy. We got one in New Orleans. They call him, his name is Byron Cole. His mother was an activist. Although I don't agree with all of his antics, his his message and the reason why he fight, I will always stand behind. But see, we got to learn to eat the meat and spit out the bones when it's not convenient for us, you know. But ultimately, Fannie Lou Hamer is what they told us the NAACP and Martin Luther King was. Mike. Because what we realize is that nigga ain't did shit but put his name on a struggle and on a project that was already in play. And this is very, very important to bring up because Fannie Lou Hamer was the woman who literally risked her life. You know what I'm saying? Who literally risked her life. And here we go. Are you being funny? Is this real? Is this real? Because if so, I don't have time right now. I really don't. I would have gave you shine, but I don't have time. I ain't gonna lie. Just put a 1 in the chat if you hit a troll, child, so we can get you up out of here at this part. Like, did you mean to say what you said? You know, that's all I have for you, fat. I ain't got time for the bull. You know, I don't. And it's always one. You know, it's always one. Moving on. So Fannie Lou Hamer was the one, like I said, who was the spearhead of the civil rights movement in Mississippi. Because remember, Mississippi was the place that was forgotten. Nobody gave a damn about what was going on in Mississippi. Mississippi was that country road, dirt road place that, you know, it was what it was. Wasn't nobody really tripping, wooty wooty wham wham. All we care about is, you know, the ones that's on the map. Your Atlanta, your Selma, y'all know the ones, the popular ones. It's the same thing that we have dealing today in 2024. Nobody cares about the grassroots issues. Everybody cares more about, you know, what's popular. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing, you know. But Fannie Lou Hamer literally risked her life for people to vote, and God bless her soul. What I didn't know, and what I'm pretty sure she didn't know, what I'm pretty sure she didn't know was that, you know, the voting thing was probably not the best thing for us, but that's a whole other live. Although I feel like that lady, you didn't know that she did whatever she thought what was best for not only her, but for us as well. She was fired from her job as a sharecropper. Mind you, she lived on the plantation of her owner, not her owner, I'm sorry, the land's owner. She lived on that plantation where he was able to take care of her family and feed her pennies or pay her pennies to work day up, sun up and sundown. I'm sorry. And she risks that in order for us to have a right to vote. Even the people down in Mississippi, that's what she did. Okay. Now, Fannie Lou Hamer was one of them people, I'm sorry, that at one point she said, you know what? Enough is enough. These clear people got Martin Luther King and everybody up there. Oh, a fun fact. Did you guys know that Fannie Lou Hamer opened up, and this is not for a comedy show, but did you guys know that Fannie Lou Hamer opened up for Martin Luther? No, I'm sorry, let me back that up. Malcolm X opened up for Fannie Lou Hamer. And when I say open up, they used to have these places where they do speeches and town halls. And so when I say open up, I mean like that. I don't mean open up in the sense of like, you know, it was a show. This is how powerful this woman was. Now, coincidentally, and we all know I don't believe in coincidence. Say hush. Coincidentally, she caught cancer shortly after she did what I'm about to show y'all. But this lady saying, all right. I know, mama. I know. Somebody at the door. I know. That's your daddy. He coming home from work. I know, mama. I know. There you go. There you go. Come here. Anyways, I'm sorry, you guys. So it was very shortly after she did what I'm about to show y'all that she did, and this is gonna go into the documentary I want to talk about. She literally bust through the doors and say, I'm tired of y'all with this fake ass shit. Y'all up here on this political shit. I'm coming through with the real teas. I'm coming through with the real deal. And she did just that. Let's get Fannie Lou up here and let me show y'all how pop when this woman walked through the door, everybody shut the entire hell up. Do you hear me? Nobody played with this lady. Not even the president. The president tried to doggone go live, as we would call it today, tried to go live while this lady was giving a speech about civil rights in 62. And the gag was it didn't quite work out in his favor because it made people want to know exactly what the hell she was saying, which blew her up even more. And like I said, right after that, coincidentally, she got cancer. You know what I mean? You know how that goes. Anyway, let's get into Miss Fannie Lou Hamer, one of my personal favorites. You know what I'm saying? Period.
August in 19.
Hold on. Mind you, just coincidentally, this is a Democratic convention that she's going in and talk to about the racist Democrats. See, they done got us to believe now in 2024 that the racist Democrats aren't who they are. They're different. They're the nice people. They're your Joe Bidens and Kamala Harrises, right? These are the good people. When Malcolm X and Fannie Lou Hamer, amongst a host of other Black civil rights movement leaders, all spoke out about what they called the Dixiecrats. See, before they were the Democrats, they were the Dixiecrats. And everybody knew the Dixiecrats was nothing but KKK in a suit and tie. Then they changed their name to Democrats and then try to put new people in to make it seem like they're not who they are, when in fact they are exactly who they were and always will be and always have been, which are the Dixiecrats, which are the KKK in a suit and tie. Are we tracking? Now let's get into what she had to say as she bust in on this doggone meeting. Peep this.
Want me to stand? Mr. Chairman, and to the Credentials Committee, my name is Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, and I live at 626 East Lafayette Street, Roosevelt, Mississippi, Sunflower County, the home of Senator James O. Eastland and Senator Stinnett. It was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens. We was met in Indianola by policemen, highway patrolmen, and they only allowed 2 of us in to take the literacy test at the time. After we had taken this test and started back to Roosevelt, we was held up by the city police and the state highway patrolmen and carried back to Indianola, where the bus driver was charged that day with driving a bus the wrong color.
Let me say this too, just to remind you guys. Does this sound familiar? Y'all remember they even put this in the movie about some so-called freedom riders who went down to Mississippi to get voting rights for Blacks, and they ended up getting popped. Remember that? See, y'all have to understand how they co-opt struggles in order to garner sympathy from the people, right? This lady is literally sitting up here saying that she and a couple other people went down to the state to get voting rights for people. And back then they made them take tests. Literally, listen, they made them take literacy tests in order to apply for the right to vote. So you had to take a test. But the gag was these sharecroppers were not educated people. They were sharecroppers. Now their children was going through the educational system, but they were not. So it was a ploy. It was a trap. Hey, you got to take a test in order to be able to vote. And if you don't pass the test, you're not going to be able to vote. But what so happened was people started teaching each other literacy tests, how to read, and it would, you know what I mean? It would help, it would help them to be able to get the right to vote. But even then, like she said, they got stopped by police saying that the bus driver was charged with driving the bus of the wrong color. So,
After we paid the fine among us, we continued on to Roosevelt, and Reverend Jeff Sonny carried me 4 miles in the rural area where I had worked as a timekeeper and sharecropper for 18 years. I was met there by my children that told me the plantation owner was angry because I had gone down, tried to register. After they told me, my husband came and said the plantation owner was raising Cain because I had tried to register. And before he quit talking, the plantation owner came and said, Fannie Lou, do you know, did Pap tell you what I said? And I said, yes, sir. He said, well, I mean that if you don't go down and withdraw your registration, you will have to leave. That then if you go down and withdraw, that you still might have to go because we're not ready for that in Mississippi. And I addressed him and told him that I didn't try to register for you. I tried to register for myself. I had to leave that same night. On the 10th of September, 1962, 16 bullets were fired into the home of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Tucker for me. That same night, 2 girls were shot in Rooseville, Mississippi. Also,
let me say this as well. You got to ask yourself, why does the plantation owner care if she get the right to vote? Why? Because what we didn't know, and what a lot of people didn't know in those days, registering to vote makes you a so-called first class or second class citizen. And when that happens, it literally makes you, it takes your status away, right? As long as we were not able to vote, although we were so-called second-class citizens, we were really kind of, it had its pros and cons. Let's just say that. But when you became a citizen to vote, now the sharecropper who's paying you, he loses money. You know what I'm saying? He loses a whole lot of things because you want to go register to vote. You get it? It was a catch-22 with this whole voting thing. But like I said, we didn't know this. Most of us still don't know it to this day. We still, you know, and that's a whole nother video. I don't want to get into that too much. But that's what the sharecropper was, or the owner was upset about, because he felt like, damn, if you go register to vote, that's going to take literally money out of my pocket because now you're 100% a citizen yourself. Does that make sense?
Joe McDonald's house was shot in. And June the 9th, 1963, I had attended a voter registration workshop, was returning back to Mississippi. 10 of us was traveling by the Continental Trailway bus. When we got to Winona, Mississippi, which is Montgomery County, 4 of the people got off to use the washroom. And 2 of the people to use the restaurant. 2 of the people wanted to use the washroom.
Yes, 62.
The 4 people that had gone in to use
64,
the restaurant,
I'm sorry,
was ordered out. During this time, I was on the bus. But when I looked through the window and saw they had rushed out, I got off of the bus to see what had happened. And one of the ladies said it was a state highway patrolman and a chief of police ordered us out. I got back on the bus, and one of the persons who had used the washroom got back on the bus too. As soon as I was seated on the bus, I saw when they began to get the 5 people in a highway patrolman's car. I stepped off of the bus to see what was happening, and somebody screamed from the car that the 5 workers was in and said, "Get that one there." And when I went to get in the car, when the man told me I was under arrest, he kicked me. I was carried to the county jail and put in the booking room. They left some of the people in the booking room and began to place us in cells.
Mind you, this is a woman, a mother, a wife. This is a woman, a mother, and a wife. This was in 64. This was a woman, a mother, and a wife, and they treated her like Alabama trash. But when you look at the civil rights movement, the one we saw on TV, the one that we saw in the newspapers, you know, I'm talking about just period. The one that they televise now, it's literally mirroring what actually happened to her. Now, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a point, so I know a lot of people be like, here she go with the bullshit. But if you ask me, my theory about this whole thing was a lot of that stuff was set up and modeled after stuff that actually happened in order to garner sympathy, but they had to use different players. Does that make sense? To me, that's just me. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I was placed in a cell with a young woman called Missy Vesta Simpson. After I was placed in the cell, I began to hear sounds of licks and screams. I could hear the sounds of licks and horrible screams. And I could hear somebody say, "Can you say yes, sir, nigga? Can you say yes, sir?" And they would say other horrible names. She would say, "Yes, I can say yes, sir." So, well, say it. She said, "I don't know you well enough." They beat her, I don't know how long. And after a while, she began to pray and ask God to have mercy on those people. And it wasn't too long before 3 white men came to my cell. One of these men was a state highway patrolman. And he asked me where I was from. And I told him Roosevelt. He said, "We're going to check this." And they left my cell, and it wasn't too long before they came back. He said, "You are from Roosevelt, all right," and he used a curse word. And he said, "We're going to make you wish you was dead." I was carried out of that cell into another cell where they had 2 Negro prisoners. The state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro to take the blackjack. The first Negro prisoner ordered me, by orders from the state highway patrolman, for me to lay down on a bunk bed on my face. And I laid on my face. The first Negro began to beat. And I was beat.
You know what's crazy? Yes, like they said, Stephanie said my daddy was born in 64. It wasn't that long ago at all. At all. My dad was born in 53. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't even 100 years ago. And that's the part, Vita. Vita's daughter says, "We the only group of people that will pray for our enemy while they're killing you." It was purposely done by design. When that lady said the lady next to her was getting beaten half to death, and that lady got on her knees and prayed to God for her enemies, they teach us that in the church. They teach us that in the church. It's another way they co-opt the church to manipulate us. What was Pastor Martin Luther King? Was he not a reverend? Well, wasn't Dr. Martin Luther King a reverend? That's what they do. So that when we're up against adversity like that, instead of us literally getting up like any other nation of people and actually fighting back, we revert to praying, because they use the church to make us believe that is what we should do. We should not fight back. We should pray. And it has worked flawlessly, mind you. It has worked flawlessly. Yes, Sonny. Indoctrination at its best. In 2024, Black folk will be with their back against the wall, nowhere to go. And you know what? Instead of praying for to give them strength to get out of it, they will pray for the people who got their back against the wall. That's what it was there for. Yes, darling Nikki, march and pray. That's all we good for. And they know that, and they weaponize that by basically doing whatever they want to us. And then they don't have to tell us we need to be praying. It be other Negroes saying, "You need to pray. You need to pray about that." Yes, real China dog. You need to pray about that. What? That's crazy. I'm just saying. Let's get back into it.
By the first Negro until he was exhausted. I was holding my hands behind me at that time on the left side because I suffered from polio when I was 6 years old. After the first Negro had beat until he was exhausted, the state highway patrolman ordered the second Negro to take the blackjack. The second Negro began to beat, and I began to work my feet. And the state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro had beat to sit on my feet, to keep me from working my feet. I began to scream, and one white man got up and began to beat me in my head and tell me to hush. One white man, my dress had worked up high. He walked over and pulled my dress. I pulled my dress down, and he pulled my dress back up. I was in jail when Medgar Evers was murdered. All of this is on account of we want to register to become first-class citizens. And if the Freedom Democratic Party is not seated now, I question America. Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off of the hook because our lives be threatened daily, because we want to live as decent human beings in America? Thank you.
Now, I left it there because there's a lot. Hold on. There's a lot that we can get into when it comes to Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer, like I said, is who we thought Martin Luther King. They put everybody's identity onto this man. That man ain't did a motherfucking thing but show up and calm niggas down. Okay? All these civil rights leaders that we thought, the ones that were on the forefront, questioned them all. If the government was okay with them, they were probably a plant or an agent. Okay? As it pertains to Fannie Lou Hamer, she did what she thought was right at the time, and she was willing to be beaten and take whatever punishment it was to be taken just in order to have the right. And this is what a race of people does. When you care about your entire race, and it's not just about you, you take the beatings for the other people. You take the punishment for the other people, even if it's not for people you don't know, for your lineage, for your generation. This lady is a hero. We never learned about her in Black History Month because they don't want us to know that. They want us to know the same old shit about Martin Luther King and should shut the fuck up and color, okay? But Martin Luther King was not who we thought he was. Please like the video. 195 likes, 275 people in here. I would sure appreciate you guys if you liked the video. It will make me so happy if you guys would do that. This is, oh yes, listen. Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, scam. They're plants. Benjamin Crump, plant. Tamika Mallory, plant. I'll name them. All of them, plants. 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 That's what they are. They look like they're there for you. Them people don't give a lazy mother F about you, girl. Plants. It's what they are. All of them. Trayvon Martin mama, plant. All of them, plant. Angela Rye, plant. Joy Reid, plant. Agents of confusion. Yes. That's literally all they are. It's all about money now, and it's been all about money then. Every street name after MLK. Why? That nigga ain't did nothing for us. When you really think about it, he ain't did nothing for us. Yeah, we integrated and we've been fucked up economically more than we ever was. Yeah, his daddy was a Freemason. Roland Martin plant, and this is a gag about these motherfuckers. A lot of these is Africans. They ain't even niggas. Y'all do know it's a difference, right? If you're on Educational Friday and you knew, maybe you might not know. But we do know there is a difference, right? An African and a so-called African American are not the same. We all black, but we are not the same. These niggas, Roland Martin, Benjamin Crump, they Africans. They not even niggas. But they look like us, and we think they're us, and they know they're not us. So they use that to their advantage by taking advantage. Are we tracking? Plants. I'm just saying. Hey, Kat. I'm just saying. Yes, true. Them the worst neighborhoods too, Voodoo, MLK State, Street, Ave, and Boulevard, all of that. Oh, yes, that's done by design. Plants. It's really a aha screw you to black people, but we don't even see it because we too busy preoccupied with going viral and stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they do. And listen, let me tell you why most Africans have not all, but there's a large group of Africans who have a superiority complex. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think the problem is the fact that we don't. We don't love ourselves enough to say that we better. And then we are shamed by each other for saying that we better. And I'm going to say it right here on this platform. No shade if you're not a nigga. No shade if you're not a nigga. But I got to say this part. The world don't move without so-called African Americans. I don't care what culture you is. The world don't move unless you have an African American influence. I don't care if we talking about reading, writing, arithmetic, music, acting, I don't give a good goddamn if we playing hopscotch, nigga. The world does not move without African Americans. All colors, races, sizes, I don't care. And we are shamed if we say something like that by niggas. Not by Africans, not by Haitians, by niggas, because we program. You are you tracking? But I'm gonna say this loud and proud. The world, not the city, bitch, not the country hoe, not even the continent slut. The world does not move unless African American influence is involved. I don't care what industry you talk about. I don't care if we talking about, I don't care what the F it's about. The world depends on the so-called African American. Period. Period. And I dare somebody to prove me wrong. I'll wait. The world, Craig. Anytime you go to the smallest hut in Africa, and they got on a shirt and they know who Michael Jackson is, these people don't even know English, but they know who Michael Jordan is. They don't even have a basketball court, but they know who Tiger Woods is, and he ain't even African American. He half African American. You see? Are we tracking? Come on now. But we will be shamed by the so-called diaspora and by niggas alike to say, oh, you can't say that. That's racist. How the fuck is a fact racist? How's a fact racist? You're not about to make me feel bad for saying what I got to say. It is what it is. Debate your own. But ain't nobody gonna prove me wrong. The world does not move without African American influence. Period, poo. Moving on. Let's get into this documentary. So we covered a part. Before we get into the documentary, you guys, let me say this as well. The reason I showed y'all that, because number one, I wanted us to learn about Fannie Lou Hamer, and there's a whole deep dive we could do on her that we will do later. But ultimately, I want to move that and segue that into this documentary. Now, we talked about a place in this documentary. We brought it up a few times. I know that listen, I know that we ain't got to be politically correct. This is for the purpose of the conversation. Everybody ain't there yet. I am OCO, my sister. I'm there. Everybody ain't there yet. That's why I say so-called and I did that. You see what I'm saying? I get it. But for the purpose of the conversation, we're going to keep it at so-called Black American, African American. You get it? I promise you, me and you there, everybody ain't there yet. Let's stick to where we can speak to everybody. You feel what I'm saying? I get it. I'm tracking. I'm with you. All right. So what I wanted us to do was segue into this documentary. Now, we've seen a portion of this documentary before when they were over there talking about using the Grassroots Project to basically try to get the rights to vote and become, this is in Mississippi as well. This is how, and again, when I do Educational Fridays, I don't like doing movies. I don't like doing what they said. I want to see the people and what was going on with the people. That's what I need to see, okay? That's what I need to see. So let's get into this documentary. We've already went through over a little piece of it, but I want to get into another piece. Hold on. If you guys get an opportunity, hold on. If you guys get an opportunity, please do me a favor. Y'all probably can hear that with the microphone. I don't want the music on. Hold on. We're gonna get into this. Listen, if you guys get an opportunity, please, for a minute, Go look at old documentaries. I'm talking about from the 60s on back. You can even do 70s, 80s, possibly. 80s on back. Please go look at old documentaries, not of people saying my grandmother was a slave and there's some old black people sitting on the porch talking about because my master did it. Don't listen to that. No. Go watch documentaries of multiple accounts of things of what was going on in the past. I promise you'll learn a lot. But let's get into this part, right? So this video is called 1965 Special. The Negro, what is it called? The Southern Negro. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, snap, it's just about the Southern Negro. It's actually much bigger than that because this was the Negro period. I know they right here are they're focusing on the Southern Negro. But what was I saying? Yeah. I know we're focusing on the Southern Negro, but this is the Negro period. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into this. Is narrated by what's that man name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm gonna get his name. It's gonna come to me. Y'all know it when y'all see it. Let's get into what was going on in this documentary with the black people in America at the time in the South. Check this out. We gonna learn a lot. Peep this. Oh, also credit to Hezekiah News. I follow him, been following him on YouTube. Y'all, please go subscribe to Hezekiah News. All he do is put up old footage. That's literally all he do. That's literally all he do is put up old footage and put up old documentaries and stuff. You can learn a lot. It's not just about this. It be about all types of stuff. Please go follow Hezekiah News for the Southern Negro and other documentaries and stuff that he put up. It's really, really fire. Check him out. But let's get into this documentary.
The legend of the antebellum South. Elegant neo-Grecian mansions. Coquettish belles under the magnolias. Dancing with young men, gallant and reckless, ready to duel for a lady's honor. The kindly master ruling his kingdom with justice and humanity, and served by his faithful, contented darkies.
Really quickly before this starts, you know what annoys me too? When I watch these clear people in these documentaries just live this lap of luxury and everything is just so great and and I look at the black people who have to work for them and slave for them, and I don't mean in the sense we were learned or we were taught, but just actually have to do the servant's job, knowing that this stuff was all stolen from the black people that were there. It bothers me because I know that these people literally came to this land and stole. They don't create nothing. Stole everything that the black folk at the time had. They stole it. And literally, how Malcolm X said, they integrate and infiltrate. That's what they do. So now the black people at that time had to do the flip. And now before they got that, they were living in these houses. They were doing all these things. And then now these clear people come up and take that bothers me. And even when I was at home in New Orleans, y'all, I got to be honest. When I was at home in New Orleans and I was watching the doormen and all that stuff, wonderful hospitality, but it really messed with me because I'm like, wow, I know that we owned all of this before these people got here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just bothers me. Moving on.
My name is Ossie Davis. I was
That's his name, Ossie Davis. Sorry.
Born in Cogdale, Georgia. The South and the Southern way of life has always been an enigma, a kind of sphinx on the American land, one writer said. White people speak of their way of life with pride and affection. But one white man from Maryland, H.L. Mencken, wrote, fundamentalism...
I'm telling y'all now, trigger warning. Wait, because this is going to be, listen, I'm telling y'all now, first of all, like the video right quick. But let me say this part. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. If you are one of those people who are easily triggered, because back in these days, these folks did not have no filter. They said what they said, and it was what it was. If you can't take this, go ahead on and log off, Fat. Hit the like button on the way out, but log off. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger freaking warning. These people saying whatever it is they want, okay? Okay? I'm just telling y'all right now. Trigger warning, because it's about to go there. They about to go there. They about to go there, okay?
Cluxury, revivals, lynchings, Ogwalla politics. These are the things that always occur to a Northerner when he thinks of the South. What is the Southern way of life? Is it based on the myth or the reality of the past? Did it ebb its life away at Shiloh and Gettysburg? Or does it still live for the 43 million whites and 11 million Negroes who live there today? I love the South, a man said in 1958. I don't choose to live anywhere else. There's land there where man...
That was cap too. They always made it seem like it's been more of them than it was of us. Cap. It's never been more of them there than there is of us. They just tell us that for inferiority complexes.
Can raise cattle.
Yes, it's Ozzie Davis, Tanya. Yep.
That's what I'm going to do someday. There are lakes where man can sink a hook and fight the bass. There's room there where my children can play and grow and get to be good citizens. Medgar Evers, a Negro, said that. Our program in the History of the Negro People series deals with the life of the Negro in the South, in the past and in the present. The past is never dead, William Faulkner wrote. It is not even past. This is Oxford, Mississippi, where the past is preserved in granite monuments that record a tragic and glorious history. But in Oxford, the past lives beyond images etched in stone. It survives in the memories and in the myths of its people. Yet Oxford is an ambitious community facing the promise and the problems of the 20th century. Perhaps Oxford can best be described by its mayor.
Oxford consists of some fine people, both colored and white. It's a town of about 6,000 people. People that like to tend to their own business, and they like to try to help in every way possible in the civic affairs, in the church affairs, and try to build a better community. Oxford is, in my opinion, is one of the finest little communities to raise a family.
Now the lady who coming up, oh yeah, they're using him to gaslight. Oh, of course, Brave. But look, the lady that's about to come up, y'all, she gonna say what she got to say. Like I said, trigger warning. Watch this, though.
We've been used to more or less a segregated life. This is something that that our colored people here are adjusted to. They are happy, and they're well satisfied. A lot of them depend largely upon the white. And I would like to say this, that the white people here depend largely on them for help and so on. And they will go to their aid. That's what the colored people like. They like someone that if they get in trouble, sickness, that church should burn or something, the white people here step in and they help them out, and the colored people appreciate it.
There are 1,600 Negroes in Oxford, mostly unskilled. There are few jobs except as janitors, cafeteria, and yard workers. In the Negro quarter, large families live in 2 and 3 rooms. As in most Southern communities,
look at the living quarters of the black people versus y'all saw the antebellum white, the South Clear people walking with them hot ass dresses on with all them layers under there. I know they coochie smelled like raw pickled pig feet under there. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's why, listen, abundance, this is why words are so powerful. You heard them, mostly unskilled. What the you mean unskilled? They are the reason you have what you have. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they do, you know? Girl, yes, Sonny, the caucasity of it all. You know what I'm saying? The caucasity of it all. I'm just saying.
Negro women are the main support of the family, working as maids, washwomen, and nurses. 73% of Oxford's Negroes receive some form of...
Pause. For the Kevin Samuels worm food, remember he was around here saying that black men were the breadwinners. Well, in 65, they said Negro women are the main, of the family. Let's run that back.
In the Negro quarter, large families live in 2 and 3 rooms. As in most Southern communities, Negro women are the main support of the family.
And it wasn't because it wasn't because they were unable of work. You got to understand, women were supporters, the main supporters, because they were able to get maid work. Everybody needed a maid. They were able to get work down, clerical work, stuff that black men could not do unless they were using their hands. They could not get that work. So because of that, black women were the main supporters of the family. But that was done by design as well. But I'm just trying to debunk that whole thing that the red pill dudes be around here hollering, oh, black men used to be this before welfare, before food stamps. Nigga, stop it. Stop it.
Working as maids, washwomen, and nurses. 73% of Oxford's Negroes receive some form of welfare relief. At the Mary Buey Museum, Oxford's most celebrated citizen, William Faulkner, is memorialized. Mary Rowland is the custodian of the museum. As Faulkner described so vividly.
Now, this the lady. Like I said, trigger warning. This the lady. Peep this lady out.
She shares with most white Southerners a sense of intimacy with their Negroes.
The fact that we have a good set of Negroes here, and they don't want to be disturbed. They really are. I have one that I just love. She nursed my children for about 6 years, and I wouldn't have her want for a thing if I found out that she needed something. And I was right amused when my daughter from Arlington, Virginia came down. She was one of the children that Missy had nursed. And I got my son to drive us out to see Missy. And she had also nursed him. And his little boy was in the car with us. And when Missy came out, she said, look at my children. And she put her arm right around William's shoulder. And the little boy just looked up at her, He didn't know what to make of it. And I said, listen, Billy, she was a mother to him for a while. I tell you, she helped nurse him. And so that's the association we had with them, and I presume there's still some good ones around. Of course, there are some getting some ideas, and that's all right. That's progress. But we've got some mighty good donkeys here.
Progress in the South has always been...
Did you hear her? She said, we got some mighty good donkeys here. That's why I kept saying, trigger warning. These people, this was normal in them times. I don't like it, but it was normal in them times. And listen, this is what I've been able to do. This is what I've been able to do. When I'm looking at this type of stuff, I got to get out my feelings. Because if I get in my feelings about what she's saying, I'm not going to pay attention to what they're doing. Does that make sense? If I get in my feelings about what she's saying, I will not be able to literally pay attention to what they're doing. So because of that, I had to get out of my feelings, even though as a human black woman, I do feel a way about it. But when it comes to trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, I got to get out my feelings. Y'all know how Educational Friday go. We got to get out our feelings and we got to get into the content, okay? I know we want to just jump through the screen and take our hands around that heifer neck and do like that. I know we want to do it. I want to do it too. But we got to get out our feelings so we can get into what they were doing. I don't give a damn about what they said. I care about what they did. So work with me, black people, please work with me. Work with the lady. She said she had a good set of Negroes and they are getting a couple of ideas, but they got a good set of darkies. That's what the lady said, okay? It's not funny, but it's funny, okay? Because when you out your feelings, you can look at it like this lady is an ignorant bitch. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back into it.
Been measured by the darky and by cotton. First there was tobacco, rice, and indigo to be worked. But by the end of the 18th century, there was a severe depression. Slavery seemed doomed. Then, in 1793, the invention of the cotton gin. Cotton could now be mass-produced, and an economic boom was in the making. Black hands and black backs were needed again to support a land. Who else could work so hard, so long, and so cheaply? But there were dangers in the system. Slaves could run away, or fight, or kill. And so, black codes were established that declared slaves were not persons, but property. These chattels could not leave the plantation without authorization. They could not visit the homes of whites or free Negroes. And for those who had the courage or the foolishness to defy the code, there was the whipping post, branding, prison, or death. As the country moved toward war, white men had established a moral system to meet their needs. At the heart of it was a belief in the Negro's natural inferiority. Slavery was declared not only an economic, but a social good. South Carolina's governor said,
"Thank you for saying this, Vita's daughter." Vita's daughter said we were not slaves. We were not slaves. But remember, this is the media. I know we see Ossie Davis. I know we loved him in the movies and wooty wooty wham wham. You know what I'm saying? We were not slaves in the sense that we were taught. But they are reinforcing that idea through this documentary to get black folks to then have a deeper inferiority complex. You got to understand what social engineering is. Okay? So, like I said, there's a reason why I don't like none of these celebrities, because they're all a part of the script, okay? Vita's daughter is absolutely right. We were not slaves, not the way we were taught. You see what I'm saying? We were not slaves, okay? But you hear Ossie Davis over here talking about slavery and do. When if you asked him at that time, if somebody could tap him on the shoulder at that time and say, "Okay, Ozzy, if we were slaves, do you have anybody in your lineage that was Indian?" "Oh, well, yeah, my mama's full-blooded Indian." Well, I'll be damned. You get it? Let's get back into it.
In all social systems, there must be a class to do the menial duties, to perform the drudgery of life. Such a class you must have, or you would not have that other class, which leads progress, civilization, and refinement. And the North destroyed all this. All the gentility and pride and honor that white Southerners called a way of life. More than 600,000 died in the war. 250,000 Southerners. Black men also fought and died. Of 186,000 Negroes who enlisted in the Union Army, 38,000 died.
I have an uncle who served in that military, in the Civil War. I don't know if he died during the war, but I do have his tombstone. He's like a third, fourth generation removed cousin. He's not an uncle, I'm sorry, cousin. But I do have his tombstone. I wish I would have had that up here, because I printed it up and everything, and they have under his name Civil War veteran. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of dope for me to see, you know. But when you do your genealogy, not that shit spitting in the tube, but when you actually do your genealogy, you get to see cool stuff like that.
The South lay devastated. "Hell has laid her egg," said a Georgian visiting Atlanta. "Right here it hatched." Galveston, a reporter said, was a city of dogs and desolation. utterly God-forsaken.
After the Civil War, everybody in this country, in the Mississippi Delta, was bankrupt. All the chattels were gone, the cotton and whatever cotton had been ginned, stored, was burned, and this country was destitute. And of course, the slaves, the freed Negroes, were just as destitute as the landowners. And they were.
Did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? He was talking about how the land was destitute, but then he said, and of course, the slaves are free Negroes. Let me run that back. Y'all got to pay attention. I tell y'all, words are very powerful. Watch what he said.
Whatever cotton had been ginned, stored, was burned, and this country was destitute. And of course, the slaves, the freed Negroes, were just as destitute as the land.
You get it? Of course, the slaves or freed Negroes was just as destitute as the land. You get it? They be telling you inside the bullshit. You have to listen to words are very important. They tell you the bullshit inside of the bullshit. You just have to listen. Put your thinking caps on, put your earmuffs on, listen. That's the part, abundance. That's the part. We were free and slaves? No. We did slave work, meaning we worked sun up to sundown. In that instance, yes, we were slaving or working as slaves, working sun up to sundown. That's if you ever listen to what people say today, child, them people work me like a Hebrew slave at work in 2024. Y'all ever heard somebody say that? He trying to work me like a slave. He trying to work me like a slave. He trying to turn me into a slave. He want me to clock in at 12 and clock out at 12 and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, listen to words. See, and if you ask me, he kind of went off script. No, I don't communicate with Dan Calloway, but I do follow him and I love him. I love his channel. I love Dan Calloway. If y'all interested in more stuff, more deep dives and stuff, please go follow Dan Calloway. But no, I don't communicate with him. I don't know him, but I think he is super dope. He's one of the only people on YouTube when it comes to this type of stuff that I deal with. But listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what he said. I'm going to run him back one more time. See, one thing about a script, people go off script often, right? Now he's going to say, so the slaves are basically free Negroes. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what he's going to say. I ain't going to say it. We're just as destitute as the land because, yes, we were enslaved as far as the amount of work we did. But the status of us were not slaves the way they taught us on the boat and chains with the little collar thing around us. No. Listen to what he's saying. And I'm running back one more time and we're going to move forward because I don't want to take too long. Okay.
Galveston, a reporter said, was a city of dogs and desolation, utterly God-forsaken.
After the Civil War, everybody in this country, in the Mississippi Delta, was bankrupt. All the chattels were gone, the cotton and whatever cotton had been ginned, stored, was burned, and this country was destitute. And of course, the slaves, the freed Negroes, were just as destitute as the landowners.
You get it? Of course, the slaves or freed Negroes was just as destitute as the landowners. Listen to what these people is telling you out their own mouth. Listen to what they telling you, out their own mouth. The slaves or free niggas was Negroes, as he said it. Or free Negroes was just as destitute as the land and the plantation owners. Let's move on. I don't want to spend too much time on it.
And they were both in a pretty difficult situation.
4 million Negroes were free under the Federal Reconstruction Acts for the first time to own their own homes. free to go to school, free to vote and hold public office. The first mixed jury in the South was impaneled for the trial of Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Half of the...
Remember we just saw Fannie Lou Hamer down there fighting for her right to vote? Is that a Negro right here? Is that me? Or is these two look a little dark? Now they telling us that they freed us from slaves and we had the right to own land, go to school, work, wooty wooty wham wham. Who gave us money to buy land? I'll wait. If we were freed slaves and they left us out there with nothing, who gave us money to buy land? Oh yeah, I forgot this one over here too. Who gave us money to buy land? How we get that money to buy land? How did we get money to think about this, you guys? I want you to put your thinking caps on. I need everybody in here, put your thinking caps on. If they freed us from slavery in 1865 and say, go, figure it the fuck out. Who gave us money to buy land? Where did we get money to buy land? We all know that even the ones who sharecropped after they were free were paid pennies on the dollar, so much so that they still had to live on the plantation with the plantation owner. Who gave us money to buy land? How did these Negroes get here? Now, I know people going to say, well, some of us was free, some of us was slaves. It makes sense. It just only makes sense. No, it does not. Because if the South was as racist as they said it was, to where even the so-called free blacks couldn't just roam and do what they want to do, then how is it that these black dudes right here get on this panel with these clear people? It's rhetorical. You don't have to answer. It's rhetorical. These are things you need to start thinking about when they talk to you about the history of the black Negro in America, okay? I'm just giving you that food for thought.
The jurors were Negroes. Before 1901, 22 Negroes were elected to Congress. There were 2 Negro senators from Mississippi. 33-year-old Blanche K. Bruce was one. John Mercer Langston, a Negro abolitionist, who became a representative from Virginia. B.S. Pinchback, acting governor of Louisiana. There was graft and corruption. But during this time, Negroes were influential in passing bills for free public schools, abolished property qualifications for voting, and ended use of the whipping post and branding iron. Today, these laws still...
Psychology is real. Psychology is real, because peep this. After he showed us all these influential blacks from all these southern states that were on juries and all that shit, these people were sitting shoulder to shoulder with the clear folks. What'd he do? Go straight back to the slavery. Look. False. There were a bunch of free blacks who didn't own no slaves. A bunch. That's what they told y'all. The ones that were free were all slave owners. False. Y'all ever seen the movie 12 Years a Slave? Remember that man from Pennsylvania? Where he was from? He went and got drunk by them clear people, and then they shipped him on a doggone boat or somewhere. He ended up somewhere in the South and ended up a slave for 12 years just because he was Negro. Think about that. All blacks were not slave owners. Just like I say, just ask yourself these questions and don't. If the answer is obvious, go research it. That's all I'm gonna say. If the answer comes to you real obvious, go and do some research about it so you can get better clarity. Because this right here, none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense.
Still exist for everyone but the Negro.
I think the thing that Reconstruction did was not as important as the fact that the slave was now free and a place had to be found for him. And the number, the sheer number, you see. of these untrained people. Well, it was a tremendous problem.
A tremendous problem that is always.
Mind you, the clear people were lied to as well. They pit us and divide us in order to further go on with the bull, right? So let's be clear. Well, let's not be clear, but you get what I'm saying? They were just as uneducated or miseducated than the blacks at the time.
Has haunted the South. Jobs for Negroes. Negroes who were often stronger, more capable for the work required. A laborless, landless, and homeless class, Lincoln called them, caught in a hazy realm between bondage and freedom. But in 1866, Union General Hatch said, "At issue in the South is not what shall be done with the Negro, but what shall be done with the whites." They were the victims of poverty and poor land, of malaria and hookworm.
Oh, wait a minute, Ozzy. Wait a minute, Fat. You said the black people was destitute, let go from slavery, and the white folks at the beginning of this doggone video was over there in them doggone quilts that they call dresses under the cooch smelling like pickled pig feet. That's what you said, Ozzy. I didn't say it. That's what you said. Now you're going to turn back around and say the whites, the clears were just as poor and fucked up and destitute as the Negros. Something ain't adding up, you guys. Something is not adding up. 1 + 1 is equaling 3, and I don't like that. Okay? Now, Ozzy, what is going on? What is going on, Ozzy? So now you telling us that the Negroes and the clears were literally on the same playing field, bitch. Unless you was a rich clear man, you ain't had nothing. Girl. But they told us in school all the clear people had money and the Negroes were slaves. That's what they said. Make it make sense, Ozzy.
About whom the Negroes used to sing, "You can't make a living on sandy land. I'd rather be a nigger than a poor white man." And to these whites, there was horror at the...
Nigga said, "You can't make a living on sandy land. I'd rather be a nigger than a poor white man." Come on now. We've been rapping before rapping was a thing. Do you hear me? You can't be a nigga on sandy land. What did he say? Run it back, Ozzy. What was it? Ozzy was spitting. What happened, Ozzy?
A laborless, landless, and homeless class, Lincoln called them, caught in a hazy realm between bondage and freedom. But in 1866, Union General Hatch said, "At issue in the South is not what shall be done with the Negro, but what shall be done with the whites." They were the victims of poverty and poor land, of malaria and hookworm, about whom the Negroes used to sing, "You can't make a living on sandy land. I'd rather be a nigger than a poor white man."
So the governor wasn't worried about the poor blacks. They were saying, what we going to do with these poor whites? And the niggas made a song that said, "You can't make a living off sandy land. I'd rather be a nigger than a poor white man." To this day. How many of y'all see clear people on the side of the road with their homeless signs, girl? And y'all be over there saying, "Shit, that nigga got it. I ain't." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, think about it. Bars, my nigga. Bars. We've been rapping before rap was a rap, okay? I said what I said.
And to these whites, there was horror at the specter of black supremacy. Blacks winning control and competing for what had been exclusively theirs: lands, homes, and jobs. Birth of a Nation, a movie classic produced in 1915, dramatized what had now become the prevalent white attitude: the fear of incompetent, criminal, and savage Negroes who, with federal bayonets, ravaged an innocent South. And so, to save the South, the Ku Klux Klan organized in 1865. on horseback with guns, sword, and the cross. They terrorized Negroes and their sympathizers with violence, arson, and murder.
You know, I have one thing to ask with the KKK people. They had bigger fish to fry than the niggers. They had the whites, as they call them, the Yankees up north that was trying to take their head off their shoulders. Why was they so fixated on the niggers when the Yankees from up north wanted their head off their shoulders? Number one. Number two, why is it that the clears gave us the cross as a symbol of Jesus, and then the same clear people took said cross and started burning it as a symbol of racism and KKK and all of that? I have so many questions that, you know what I mean? I don't know. But this is Birth of a Nation, where they're making fun of Negroes and further dividing by showing all the other clear people, hey, y'all, you watch them. They criminals, they rapers, they da-da-da-da-da. That's what this is all about. And again, it further, like I said, they were just as miseducated as we were. But let's finish.
Today, though their techniques have progressed to air-conditioned limousines, they are still active, still dedicated to their faith that Jesus Christ was not a Jew, that the Pope of Rome is Antichrist, and the Negro is a beast who must be suppressed.
To describe that bunch, I'd have to use a whole lot stronger than I'm permitted to use.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I have a sense of humor when it comes to the KKK rallies. A lot of y'all thought when that lady said the darkest here is they unproblematic or whatever the case. I love hearing the KKK at the rallies because it be so fucked up. It be funny. You know what I'm saying? Listen, trigger warning. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're sensitive, get off of here, fat. Trigger warning, okay? These people at their rallies be spitting, okay? Trigger warning.
Who's being a minister of the gospel. Amen. They go into the auditorium or the gymnasium for the after football game dance. Then comes along one of the nigger football players, and they all go piled in there together like that you are here tonight, just like a bunch of OICs and Berkshire hogs all trying to loosen a lot together. They go in there and they get to rubbing around. Smelling that vanilla flavoring.
He said, smelling like vanilla bourbon.
You could see the height of your fair-skinned daughter. Her dancing partner be tagged on the shoulder by some burr-head, liver-lip, goat-smelling, ape-faced nigger. Can you conceive such a thing? Are you going to do something about it?
Reverend W.N. Redmond, as most Southern Negroes, has been an eyewitness to the vigilante system of Negro control. At 14, he remembers the punishment of a Negro father and son who had killed a white man's dog.
They took him and put him in jail and they beat him. And then they got together on a Saturday. And they tied him with barbed wire, hand and feet. They put barbed wire around the neck and put the father on one side of the bumper and the Negro and the son on the other side of the bumper. They drug them all over the town. And after that, they were drugged to the neighborhood, the Negro neighborhood. They were told that this is the way that we're going to keep the Negro in this place. And they took gas, gasoline, and they poured it on them, and they burned them up.
Freedom and truth for former slaves required new definitions. Sheriff Boyce Bratton comments.
I feel that the Negro here in Lafayette County in Mississippi has freedom, all the freedom he wants. He's not tied by any laws, man-made laws, or made by Congress or any other lawmaking body. He has all the freedom that he wants. The Negro is not deprived of any freedom.
This is important. Listen to what he's saying. This is important. He said the Negro here has all the freedom that they want. They are not tied by any laws. They are not tied by any congressional anything, because you know what? Before we had the right to vote, we were not tied by laws. I know you are gonna look at me and say, what does that mean? It don't make sense. It don't make sense because it don't make sense. Before we gained the right to vote, we were not tied by any laws because we were not citizens. Okay? That is very important to understand what he's saying. He's coming from a racist standpoint, obviously. But what he's saying is true. The Negroes here are not tied by any laws. They're not tied by any. We're not obligated to do a motherfucking thing but stay black and die. That's it. All we got to do is stay black and die. But when we decided, because they told us, somebody put it in our ideas, in our ears, hey, you need to go register to vote, all of that was taken away. Are we tracking? Are we tracking? We got to pay attention to what listen, they ignorant. These people, these clear people on these, they ignorant as fuck. Pay attention to what they saying. They telling you everything you need to know. You just got to listen. That's why I said, when you come to this documentary, you got to get out your feelings, because if you in your feelings, you ain't going to be able to understand what the fuck going on. Listen to what these people is saying. They telling you. We done fought and all that for this right to vote. And like I said, shout out to Fannie Lou Hamer. She thought she was doing the right thing. She didn't know no better. But we fought for this right to vote, and it's got us nothing. Nothing. It's actually put us back.
Here in Mississippi.
Jim Crow, it was called. Beginning in 1870, signs went up all over the South separating the races and taking away the Negroes' newly won rights. Negroes and whites were separated on trains and buses. Negroes were barred from white hotels, restaurants, barbershops, and theaters.
I've also heard a number of times that the colored and the white were not equal under the law. That's true. The colored gets the break and the white man doesn't. For instance, two men, one white and one colored, breaks into a store here. In all probability, the colored man would get a very light sentence, and the white man would get a heavy sentence. Now, that's not equality under the law. But it goes back to the thing that I said to start with, that the white man of the South feels like it's actually his job to look after them.
Let me tell you something. When I first heard this the first few times, it made me mad. Like, white man, are you crazy? Are you crazy? And then I had to step back and get out my feelings. And that's what I need y'all to do right quick. And follow me, camera. Follow me. Follow me, camera. Follow me. In our lifetime, we know that that's a bull-faced lie. Yes, it is. We know ain't no clear man getting no steeper sentence for no black man. I don't give a damn if they stealing a piece of bubble gum. That is a lie. But before we had the right to vote, get me up here. I got to say this part. See, this is why you got to get out your feelings and get into what the fuck going on. Before black people had the right to vote, we were not recognized as citizens, which means that if we were to get in trouble, if we were to have any issues, per law, they cannot hold us to the same degree as a citizen because we're not a freaking citizen. But when we decided we wanted to vote to become a first-class citizen, now you are held under all laws and you will be punished as such, the way they want to punish you. Listen to me. This is going to sound really crazy to a lot of people, because a lot of people going to say, a lot of people are going to say that don't make sense, because everywhere we go, we know that black people get harsher sentences. Yes, because we have the right to vote. Prior to that, because we were not citizens, are we tracking? Because we were not citizens, they could not hold us to the extent of the law that they could other people. Now, don't get this twisted. They still was able to hang us, whatever they wanted to do. They still were able to do that and get away with it because we were still cattle, whatever they thought of us. However, when it comes to us under the law, it's hard to hold us to the extent of the law when we're not citizens. That's why to this day, if a foreigner gets in trouble in America, they don't give them the electric chair or life in prison. What do? Ship them back to where the hell they from. You get it? But see, the clear people didn't ship us back to where we were from when we were getting in trouble because they knew we were already where we were from. You get it? Do you get it? Right now, if a foreigner gets in trouble, they call what they call them ICE. They call ICE. So they just get you up out of here. You get it? But the reason they didn't get us up out of here when we jacked up is because where they gonna send us to? They know we ain't from Africa. We don't know it. Where they gonna send us to? If that was the case, you don't think they would have been shipping us back in droves? Think about it. Food for thought. You don't have to believe me. Food for thought. Let's get back into it.
Is colored citizens, the colored citizens, and they are not held accountable to the same stringent letter of the law that the white man is.
That no amalgamation of races should be allowed. In other words, they did not permit intermarriage. It was made death to maim or kill a horse or a cow or a slave.
By 1885, separate schools were the new order. At white and Negro schools, children, using the same textbook, learned the traditions of the past and absorbed the values of the present. In their History of Mississippi textbook, they read of life on a Mississippi plantation. The master and the mistress taught the Negroes truthfulness and honesty as they taught their own children, by not tempting them and by trusting them. With Negro slaves, it seemed impossible for one of them to do a thing without the assistance of one or two others. Of course, some kind of occupation had to be devised to keep them employed a part of the time, but it was very laborious to find easy work for a large body of lazy and inefficient people. And in their churches, too, white Southerners sang and prayed to a God that to them decreed segregation.
Well, certainly I believe in segregation. I have stated that
This is what I never understood about Christianity. If we all, according to black people in the black church, if we all serving the same God and God loves us all, how come they God tells them that segregation is okay and that basically stay away from them niggers and you are superior, but our God tells us that we are the same, yet and still we all serving the same God? I never understood that about Christianity. If we all serving the same God, why God telling them something different than he telling us? He not telling them what he telling us, because he telling us, I love you all. I love all y'all. But he over there telling them, I love y'all more than I love them. Y'all need to get rid of them. They, get them out of here. Why would he? Okay. All right. I'm just asking. It's just a question. It's just a question. You know? It just never made sense to me about religion. I never understood it.
I have believed in it. I believe in it now, and I always will believe in segregation. First, because God teaches it. I think it's God's plan that the races be segregated. We find a lot of scripture on it. And for reasons that I've just mentioned, that I feel that their standards is not up to the white standard. I'm not going to force somebody to go to church with me. And that's what they're trying to do to the colored race. That's what the outsiders is trying to do. They're trying to come down here and force them to go to our church.
I build a house. I have a right to live in that house. You don't have a right to come in and move in with me. I build a church. It may be that it's a house of the Lord. But yet, I maintain if I build it, I have a right to say who will and who will not come in. Remember, it's come by invitation only.
By invitation only became the right of...
I want to say this as well. I second his thing. I don't think black people should have been fighting for the right to go to their church. Just like I feel like black people should have been able to say, we don't want nobody else at our stuff. I don't have a problem with racist people. I think if a person is racist and feel like they are superior to others, fine. But I also feel like don't shame me if I feel like I'm superior to others either. You get what I'm saying? I don't have no issue with that clear man getting on here saying if it's my house, I built it, I don't want y'all here, don't come here. Fine. But let that same thing go on the other side. You see what I'm saying?
Negroes also, as they found ways to live as free men in the South.
Seek the salvation of our kindred and acquaintance. Walk circumspectly. If you're just, somebody know it. And if you're just in your dealings, it'll soon be that folks will take your word. But if you're unjust in your dealing, won't nobody believe nothing you say. See what I mean?
In 1895, Booker T. Washington declared, "In all things that are purely social, we can be as separate as the fingers, yet one as the hand, in all things essential to mutual progress."
Look at what Booker T telling niggas. Look at what Booker T is telling black people. We can be as separate as fingers, but all together we need to become one hand. They not telling Booker T, you telling the wrong people. Shouldn't you have been telling them that? Real question. Why is Booker T telling us about being separate as fingers but coming together as a hand, nigga? You should have been over there at the clear people telling that to them. We never had a problem with them. The problem has always been with us. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. All these prominent leaders that y'all sitting up here thinking was here for us and for black folk, them people didn't give a good God. They were plants. Booker T included. They were plants. They were there to do just what they're doing. Keep you docile. Keep you inferior. Keep you praying instead of fighting.
By the end of the century, segregation was complete. The New South rose out of the ashes of the old, and the good nigger was the one who once again...
Yeah, Gigi, it was Fannie Mae Lewis. Fannie Mae. It was Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou, L-O-U, Hamer, H-A-M-E-R. Fannie, 2 N's. Fannie Lou Hamer. That's her name.
Again, knew his place.
But as a rule, they are a very happy people. They, a large percent of them do not worry because they know that they're going to be taken care of. I've had a number of them to remark to me that, well, they know Mr. Brown or Mr. Jones, Mr. Smith's going to take care of us. They know that. They know that they're not going hungry. And they're not going to need for clothes as long as they'll work and do halfway right. They know that they're going to be taken care of. So they have no worries.
White folks were so good to me that when I got sick and disabled to work, to just come in and bring me something to eat, clothes, and everything. Fed me, clothed me, and I had a house full of children, and they fed my children. Yes, sir. I've been working all of my life, and the white folks raised me. Mister, I tell you the truth, I don't know what in the world I'd do without white folks. Now, that's the truth.
It wouldn't surprise me if they paid that lady to say this. But I gotta give honest to what it is. A lot of black people did feel like they depended on white people or clear people because they did put them in fucked up situations and some of them helped them out. You get it? They will put you in a fucked up situation and then give you a hand to help you get out and psychologically trick you into thinking that basically they are there to help you. The reason you're fucked up is because of them. Shout out to this queen mother. I don't know who this woman is, but it could be that she really believed that these people, you know what I'm saying, really helped her. So I would never say anything disrespectful to the ancestor. But what I'm saying is they did the psychological mind trick by putting us in the horrible situations and then helping a few of us out so that we can always pay allegiance or pay homage or have respect or look at them as God-like figures, when the fact of the matter is they are the devil himself. You get it?
And misters, I'm just a white folks nigger. I'm a nigger and all of my children's a nigger. And all this community in here of Mississippi recognize, appreciate, and work for the white folks.
The Negro is not a part of my family. As a result, I don't elect to have him sit and eat with me. As a result, I don't elect to have him belong to a club that I may belong to. I don't elect to be...
For Judge Obar, as for most Southern whites, out of the past has come a philosophy he calls the Southern way of life.
I keep telling y'all, trigger warning, y'all got to get out your feelings. When y'all listening to this shit, y'all got to get out the feelings. But it would, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if they paid that lady. I don't care what nobody see. Because that shit, it just wouldn't surprise me.
The Negro and his place is at the heart of it.
This is the way it has been. It's the history of the South. It's because we've been brought up like this. We have been taught like this. And we teach our children like this. And they'll teach their children like that. I think it is a matter that has been history all down through the years and will remain history.
Well, I guess it's just plain born in us, instilled in us. In spite of the fact that you have great respect for some Negro individuals, respect them as people, and not just as a servant. There is some physical revulsion, I think. The skin is dark. And I guess it's just something that we are so familiar with, it's just impossible, really, to overcome it.
For 11 million Negroes in the South, there is also a Southern way of life. But rarely have they been asked for their interpretation.
Well, the white man fears this, that if the Negro get equal education, then he will be out of his reach to do the job that he heretofore have done for him, and he figured that he was going to have to pay the Negro equal salary that he would have to pay the other boy, which actually is not the skin of the Negro that the white man dreads. It's the Negro is going to demand the dollar that the white man demands.
The Southern way of life for the Negro woman means that she is addressed all the time by her first name, or she's called auntie, or she's called girl by the other race. And the Southern way of life often means that our children wear some of the things that have been given by others. Now, a lot of times these are good things and they are highly appreciated. And the Southern way of life means that you can purchase food from a side entrance or a back entrance, or you can get someone to fix something for you to carry out. The Southern way of life means that you are to say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, and no, ma'am, and no, sir. Sometimes that's expected even down to the teenagers.
Mind you, this was not the Southern way of life for all blacks. We just showed y'all black politicians over there with judges on juries and all type of shit. This was not the Southern way of life for all black Southerners. But this is what they put into the media to let the people think that this was the way of life for everybody. Listen, they do it to this day. Al Sharpton, all these people get paid to get up there and say what the fuck they saying. I'm not saying that this is a fact, but it would not surprise me if all of these people in this documentary are paid just as like Ozzie Davis is paid. Because that was not the Southern way of life for all blacks. We just seen it.
In order to segregate the Negro, we essentially must segregate ourselves, you see. You cannot enslave, if you want to use that word, or hold down or discriminate against someone else without in turn having the same thing happen to yourself. The changes that will happen as they go along will release us, free us, if you will, so that we can have a much broader perspective on human responsibility and human dignity and human rights. Whereas before we thought in terms of white only, we will be able to think in terms of all men.
We live in hope.
Peep it. Before we get to the Rev, the father, the clear man, remember, white clear people are fathers. Black people are reverends. Think about words are powerful. The father could get up here and say, you know what, clear people, we might be a little jacked up. We should probably, not do unto these folk because it's going to come back on us. Let's think about everybody. Now look at the reverend at the same time saying we need hope. Ain't that what Obama ran off for, hope? Both are clergymen of the church. One is called a father. One is called a reverend. Words are powerful. Remember that. Words are powerful.
We have faith to believe that the good things that we hope for as human beings and as God's children will finally come to pass. So that's a part of my Christian life here in the way of life here in the South.
Oh, touch me, Lord. Touch me, Lord.
As we moved into the 20th century, for the older generation of Negroes, there was often only patience.
I don't think Nay said she think it was because of the Catholic faith. Well, if we're going to use that coinky-dink, then I will use the coinky-dink why most of the clear people Catholic and most of the Negroes is other Christian faiths. Why most of them was black, or I'm sorry, Baptist, Southern Baptist. You know what I mean? But I don't believe in coincidences. I believe it was set by design. Clear people were Catholic. That's why they were fathers in their church. And then the black folk was Southern Baptist or Baptist or AME or whatever the case, and they were reverends. That's just my theory. I don't know. That's my theory.
And faith in a better future. But in the middle of the 20th century, for the younger Negroes, something else was stirring. Something that would change the South.
And can I say this? I hate to keep stopping it. Please, y'all pay attention to the way these people look. Really pay attention to these people that we're looking at, these black folk. None of these people, to me, they don't look African. I don't see Africa on these people's faces. We've all seen all types of Africans. I'm talking about from the texture of the hair, from the structure of the face. I don't see Africa on these people's faces. I get it. If you want to be of the belief that we all derived from Africa centuries and centuries ago, that's one thing. But I'm talking about who these people are at this time. I don't see Africa on the faces of these people. I don't. I could be wrong, but when I look at these people, I know they told us we from Africa, but I don't see no African resemblance. Just the fact that we black. That's it.
Southern way of life. Something that was a long time a-coming and was too explosive to contain. Touch me. Touch me, Lord. I want to be home.
I don't know about y'all, but I ain't seen one African in that whole church. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't see not one African. I'm talking about from the hair texture to the skin tone to the facial features, from the babies on up to the oldest woman I seen in that church. I didn't see one African in that church. I'm just saying.
Big day when the mist have rolled away.
Now in 65, this is where the NAACP coming in. The grassroots have already come together to figure out a way to get their freedom stuff. They want to be able to vote. They want all of this is happening post God bless her soul, Fannie Lou Hamer. That's the reason why I played her first, right? She was from where? Natchez, Mississippi. Well, another place right outside of Natchez, right? All of this coincides. We saw what was happening in real life. Not what they showed us in the history books. We saw what was happening in real life. Do you hear me? Now look at how the NAACP is going to come in and co-opt and take over a thing that was already done and already in place by the people of the country, of the city. Watch how they co-opted for photo ops, for media and all of that. The NAACP with Martin Luther King, all of them, they were all plants, you guys. I keep telling y'all, this is Black History Month. We're going to get real Black history over here. They were all plants, agents, and they were there to further divide and confuse us, even in 2024. Peep this out, though.
But we'll understand it better by and by.
It says the NAACP attempted to mobilize the Negro community by working through the community's traditional leadership, the Negro middle class, and the FDP, bypassing this leadership attempt to appeal directly to the community. We didn't need you to do that, NAACP. Fannie Lou Hamer and the people at the grassroots level was already doing that. She made national freaking news. We didn't need the NAACP if I'm a Mississippi native. I don't need y'all down here doing a motherfucking thing. We already making progress. Why is you here, Ike? We know why they there, but let's move on. During the summer, attempts were made by a few local Negro men to form a secret armed self-protection societies, commonly referred to as the Deacons. The first meeting was held in the back room of the Negro Tavern. Let me tell y'all something. These niggas tried to get together and perform a secret society, girl. Take a look at what happened.
But I'm gonna tell you fellas, let me say this. I'm gonna tell you fellas, I have never belonged to anything as serious as this. And I want to tell you, when I made this step, I call it taking a giant step. The things that we do in the street, that's in the street. But what we do here is something like a person's treasure locked up in a vault. It's here to stay.
Each person here bow down on both knees. His left hand placed in the Bible. And his right hand up to God. On the oath. Who want to be first man? Good, Mr. Jackson. Your arm, just like that. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
That I will not.
That I will not.
Reveal. Or invade. Any of these above secrets within.
John Fisher there was interested in organizing an organization for the protection of Negro people. And he invited me to his first meeting. And we met. We took oaths, swore that we would give our lives to the organization, and nothing ever happened. He promised there would be more meetings the next week, the next 2 days, but never another meeting. It was just a complete, nothing was done.
I'm just in there We didn't hire you. I don't want to. I want to pay you off. All I want is my money, and I ain't working today and tomorrow either. All I want is my money, and I will be back tomorrow or this evening.
Now, if you want me and you and OC and Nussy going on a test thing,
I went over there yesterday and worked like a dog when y'all was sitting down. I'm not gonna work all night on my money. Hey, straight. Wait a minute. Listen, I'm not talking to you. You didn't hire me, and listen, get off me here. I ain't fun on shit. I ain't fun on stuff this morning. Don't argue with me. Don't say nothing to me because you didn't hire me. You understand?
One thing black people gonna be is themselves. Boy, we've been the same way since the beginning of time. This black man said, don't argue with me. You ain't hire me. Don't argue with me. I don't want to hear nothing. He said, I got time for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Now, don't get me wrong. Sorry. But I ain't doing good. Sorry.
No.
You didn't hire me.
Come on. Sit down. Sit with Dad.
What?
There are men in Natchez.
Now, moving forward, this is the NAACP trying to organize. They're trying to organize a group of people that were really already organized. Child, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Girl, it was a lot. This is the start of the NAACP and they bullshit that they've been doing all this time.
There are women in Natchez, and there are children in Natchez. If the children can walk the line, you can protect them. One favor I want to ask of them. I want every man in here to stand up. Every man. You can sit down. All I want to say is every man in here with idle time. If you can't walk the picket line from tomorrow on, won't you come by, sit on the side somewhere and see what's happening so that if some of those people come up to hurt some.
This is in 65's Creative Ambitions, but she's asking the black men because basically the women and the children are over there putting their lives on the line to walk the picket line, and the Negro men were nowhere to be found, okay? So she's asking them, hey, I need y'all, if y'all can't walk the line, come see what they're doing to the women and children so y'all can be there as a line of defense.
Some of your children, your heart will be right. I want to see every man who stood up and said he was a man be out by that picket line.
The average cat would say, actually, the average guy would say now, if I'm on that picket line and get shot dead, they would say in their mind, they would go around talking, say, if he hadn't been on that line, he wouldn't have got killed. And that's a lie. I could have been at home, I still would have got killed.
I'm like Billboard. Billboard said, wasn't one good nigga, that's a dead nigga. There was one good white man, that's a dead one.
Well, all of them is wrong. You can't hate them, man. A lot of white guys are afraid, just like we are, you know? So when I grab that sign to get on that picket line, I couldn't say that I'm not afraid, man. I'm not afraid, but I still have fear, you know? They right there and die before I turn around. That's right. I got sense enough to know, man, that you don't die until your time comes. Yeah.
We need people that, if you see people around here who could go down and picket on Main Street,
Okay, I sure will.
They just had these little kids around.
And let's be clear. Do not be fooled by the clear people coming in saying, oh, we want to help. If clear people really wanted to help black people, we wouldn't be in the situation we's in, okay? You know what I mean? So don't be fooled by the clear people saying they want to help organize and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't be cleared. I like what you said, Stephanie. They had a lot of people signing up to go to war. A lot of people signing up to go to war, but they scared to walk the picket line because they say, I don't want to be unalived. We got to be straight up about these things now. But don't be fooled by clear people acting as if they want to be a part of change. Please don't ever be fooled by that. Please.
12 and 13-year-old, and they've been picketing all day. And
everybody's gone.
Yeah, and they're going to get a sunstroke if they keep on. So I'm going down canvassing for more kids. Oh, the little kids?
Little kids.
Yeah, the 12 and 13-year-olds.
What you go up and give them my hands? No, I woke up that like I am. I'm blown from last night, man. Somebody look at me over the piece of boy.
That is false. The messenger, all of black people weren't drafted into the military. You got to understand when drafts happened. All black people were not drafted into the military. That is a lie. All black people were not drafted into the military, especially when you talk about the Civil War. There were no drafts. You volunteered. That's why you either fought on the side of the Confederacy or you fought on the side of the North. But everybody wasn't drafted. We thinking about Vietnam and say, oh, they were drafted. Everybody wasn't drafted. Even in Vietnam, everybody wasn't drafted. There was a period of time before they had to do drafts. Black people signed up to go to the war, to go to military. So everybody wasn't drafted. Some people, even to this day, sign up. Oh, yeah, several men were, but we can't. But because several men were, that's why I say words are powerful. Just because several men were, we can't use that as a response to men signing up to go get unalived overseas, yet being scared to walk a picket line. You see what I'm saying? So words are powerful. You see, because now that you give context, it makes sense. But when you say them originally, you got to be careful with that. Because when we say they were drafted, we sitting up here thinking, okay, yeah, that's why all these black men signed up to be unalived. False. False. Look, we got people in the chat. We got people in the chat corroborating what I'm saying. Look, hold on. Ink Mommy said mine signed up. My grandpa did. My grandpa signed up. My grandfather and great-grandfather was drafted. We have their records. That's awesome. My father and uncle signed up for the GI Bill. That was a thing. Black people were signing up just for the GI Bill, even though they didn't get it after they signed up. All my uncles fought in the war were voluntary. You see what I'm saying? Shut up. Stop, Saint. Stop. You know what I mean? All of them wasn't drafted. Words are powerful. Words are powerful. We got to be careful with that. We got to be careful with that. We can't use that as a response because it is misleading. Okay?
Ever since the two Civil Rights Project came to Natchez, Negroes would sit around and discuss how they want to fight for their freedom and how they're ready to die for it. And soon as the man said, okay, man, come on, let's go up here and picket, and that's why everybody do all their dying right at this time, man. I sure wish I could come up there and help you out, man. Hot dog, I didn't know it was going to be a picket today. I got to go to a funeral today. Nobody never dies until it's going to be a march or a picket, you know. But and it started me thinking that the Negroes were just fooling himself that he was still ready to do nothing. Yeah, like, man, I was just about ready to give it up. Just about ready to turn around, and all of a sudden, boom.
Here is a repeat of an earlier news bulletin from WNET. George Metcalf, president of the Natchez chapter of the NAACP, was critically injured in Natchez this afternoon when dynamite hidden beneath the hood of his car exploded when he turned on the ignition. The injured Negro was rushed to Jefferson Davis Memorial Hospital, where he was given emergency treatment. Officials at the hospital declined to comment on his condition. Metcalf had been active in the voter registration drive in Natchez and had been a signer of a school.
This is the same voter registration drive I was talking to y'all about as it pertained to Fannie Lou Hamer, right? This is the same voter registration drive that we saw the video on at the beginning of this video, where she bust through there and was like, what the F? You know, like basically giving her account of what was going on. Now, the NAACP's job is to come in and first of all, get niggas to be quiet, settle down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, don't let them get too riled up. That's their job. Martin Luther King, all of them, that's their job to do that. So when we talking about the voter registration thing that's going on in real time right here, you got the NAACP coming in to co-opt this thing in order to then, first of all, divert what was going on and repaint the narrative. You know what I mean? Let's get back into it.
School integration petition.
You know, I want to find out about. Hey, Ace, have you been in the hospital?
Yeah.
How are his eyes? Huh? His eyes are closed?
Yeah, both.
I mean, they have something open.
Well, now, one of them was, let me see, the right side was a big knot over this one, but the other one was swollen real bad and close too.
Well, will he be able to see? I heard that there's a possibility he may not be able to see it.
Well, it's according to what got in it, you know that.
America thinks the Negroes and Natchez are afraid, as they've said many times. We ain't here to let them know that we aren't afraid. And this is CBS News, and they're going to let the world know that we're not afraid anymore. It doesn't mean that we're going to sure that they're not turn Mississippi into a bloodbath. You're right. That's where so I go to talk to this man with the rifle.
What's going to happen here?
Well, I'll tell you right now, from the way practically all the Negroes feel, it feels like the thing is about to happen, what had happened in California. Now, whatever that you call that happened in California, a war or race riot or whatever it is.
You talking about the riots that happened in 60, I don't want to lie, in the 60s in California. Remember all of them? If you're from Cali and y'all know about them riots that was happening out there, see, what happened was the black people in the South were getting the bright idea, oh, we can make change if we do something about it. But in the Watts riots, thank you, Just Goddesses only, the Watts riots. See, the black people were getting the idea in the South. Okay, yeah, I see what's going on. All this singing and bullshit ain't working. Maybe if we started doing something, maybe some change will come about from that, right? And listen, the interview was done on purpose. That's to let the powers that be know them niggas is trying to galvanize. Get the NAACP down here ASAP to calm these niggas down. Do you get it? It's all done by design, is what it is. So that's what he's talking about when it comes to, you know, whatever they were doing up there in California. He's talking about rioting, actually doing something.
That's what's about to happen here.
Who will start such a riot?
Anybody here started right now, ready. Is that the question in the thing? Stop if you want to see it now.
Look at how the people getting riled up. They ready to go. They like, fuck all that. It is what it is. They ready to tear this bitch down. How the song say? So we could tear this mother down. I'm on that liquor, bitch. I'm about to whip. You know what I'm saying? They ready. They ready. But the NAACPs, along with Martin Luther King and all of them, their job was to calm you down. We don't need you to do all that. We need you to pray about it. That was their job.
Look,
How is George looking? I don't want to see him. I don't want to, because I might go back out and start shooting up the nurses. Yeah.
Nobody gonna disarm us. That's another.
I shoot up the nurses. Let me tell you something.
Not a soul gonna stand there disarm nobody.
But you see now, what is happening is that the people are arming themselves, true. But tonight, people just want to serve notice on the city. That's all.
That's right.
That's all they want to do is serve notice. And the protest is just that we just gonna let these people know we tired. And like Mr. Evans said, before we be a slave, we'll be buried in our grave. Go home to our Lord and be free. That's all. Look, I had this fella to go pick up his dress. You know my white dress? You know that big white green one? I had him go pick it up because I can't hardly make it in this little tight thing. We got to call the mayor. Hello? Yes. Oh, well, this meeting is tonight at 6 o'clock over here at the house, at the office. And of course, it's a somewhat of a protest meeting. Well, Mr. Evans will be one person here. And of course, I
know y'all keep hearing her say Mr. Evers. Y'all remember Medgar Evers, who was unalived in front of his door? His brother was a part of the NAACP, Boule. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me. But his brother was NAACP, and Medgar also worked along with them, but somehow Medgar Evers was unalived, and the brother was able to come up inside of the system. So that's what she's talking about when she keeps saying Mr. Evers, okay?
The city of Natchez will be here. I'm just about sure the Negro community will be here because, you know, this is a bad time.
Southern white men don't understand violence. Unless we meet that violence with violence, we're not going to move anymore. It's just going to be, the civil rights movement going to take 100 years.
See? Them people were smart. That man said, you got to meet violence with violence. The civil rights movement going to take 100 years. Them people were at civil unrest. Martin Luther King was paid by the federal government, him along with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, NAACP, and all of them other people were paid to go around when they see stuff like that and calm black people the F down. We can't have you actually fighting for what you want. We need you to be docile and pray about it so that these clear people could continue to put their foot on our necks. That was the whole job of them people.
The quickest way to freedom is to meet violence with violence. Violence with violence. Black mother.
We all are saddened tonight, as we were saddened today, about this brutal attack upon our own. And I know all of us are angry, and nobody's more angry than I am. We all are tired of being mistreated, and we know who's responsible for this.
That right there is Medgar Evers' brother. That's Medgar Evers' brother. The brother of the slain black man who was unalived in front of his door by alleged clear people. You know what I'm saying? And he's over there inside the NAACP bull. Girl, this shit go deep. Now, if y'all want to go conspiracy theory, we'll go there another day. But conspiracy theory tells me that there's a reason why Medgar ain't here, and he was. And he had the prominent, position in all of that. But we're not going to get into all of that. I'm just saying.
We know who's responsible.
Right.
And we must use the weapon that we are soon going to have to get rid of them. Now that weapon, very quiet, please. The weapon, the most effective weapon, will be, and is the vote. We know that.
No! Look at what he's telling them. The most effective weapon is the vote. That's what he's saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Malcolm woke this up for me. I didn't wake this up. Malcolm woke this up for me. He's saying the most effective weapon is to vote, not fight for what you want. No revolution has happened without shed of blood. But he's over there telling them, no. Don't fight, just vote. The fuck? Are you dumb? No, he's doing his job that he's being paid to do.
Keep them straight, man. Keep them straight too long. Keep them straight on their head. That's what I say. You a boy. Yeah, I'm a boy when you want to go out there and get them.
Let's hear what he's saying. Stay together. We have got to stick together. We've got to listen and be obedient and do what you're told. This is most important now. We cannot go off on no wild goose chase. We can't be as ignorant as they have been. Now, I was just told that Father Marcy here had something to read.
The mayor and the board of aldermen have agreed at 1 o'clock tomorrow to have a meeting and to meet with representatives of the various elements of our community. The purpose of this meeting is not merely to talk things over. For the first time, according to their promise, the purpose of this meeting will be to actually form a permanent community biracial committee. And the purpose of that committee will be to hear grievances, to sit down and discuss grievances, to look into what is wrong with our community and the justifiable complaints of our Negro citizens.
I guess the next day,
It was not a coincidence that this was a priest, aka father, coming to deliver the news that, hey, we clear people is what we willing to hear you out. We ain't willing to do nothing. We just gonna hear you out. You know, you got Mega Evers' brother, Charles Evers, up there saying, y'all, I know y'all want to go down there and bust some heads open to the white meat, but we can't do that. We need to be obedient. We need to be servants and obedient. And then they get the clear man up there to give you a word salad to basically say, we'll have a meeting here, y'all, but we ain't gonna do nothing. The fuck? Literally is what he said. We would love to hear what you got to say, but we ain't gonna do nothing. All this to pacify Black people from having an uproar, from going into a thing where they actually, you know what I'm saying, do something about the situations that they're in. I keep telling y'all, Mike, aka Martin Luther King, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SNCC, all of them people were there just to do NAACP to shut you the fuck up while them clear people have their agenda pushed and they use only Negroes to push that agenda upon us. They can't do it by themselves. They need us. Okay?
they selected the committee. I really don't know too much about it, but I had heard that the Freedom Democrat Party kids and Evers had some kind of fight. And from the looks of the committee, Evers must have won.
Field representative, can't you see that? The poor people. Look at that, NAA people. Nobody represents Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. Who said nobody's representing you?
Does somebody have to?
How this militant movement got started? I don't want to turn this table over now. No, yes I will too. Yes I will.
That's why we're not.
Frankly, is the reason why they will not talk to younger people. Because we don't like things, but we are going to hold our temper.
I think some ladies should be on because they've been out of town picketing when the men are sitting down, haven't been doing anything. Yeah, well, suppose you put men on this thing. All right.
See? Look what that young brother said. First of all, the young brother said, I'm tired of all this shit. I'm ready to turn over some tables. The clear man says, no, see, this is why we don't want to talk to the children, because y'all too erratic. Then he said, well, you know what? Let the women speak. They the ones been on the line picking it and doing everything. Let them speak. And look at this old nigga. See, this is how they use that divide and conquer. An older man who got old, setting it, Mr. Vibes, Mr. Ways, get up there and say, oh, no, it's got to be a man up there. Well, sir, where was your antennas when they needed picketing, when they were coming up organizing? You would know where to be found. But now you want to get up and say it's got to be a man, sir? They use the young people. because they know them old folks like this one right here standing up is set in his ways. He ain't had shit to say until that young boy said we need to let the women over there talk because they the ones doing all the work. Oh no, it's got to be a man. What? You ain't helping with shit, but it's got to be a man?
Like things, but we're going to hold our temper.
I think some ladies should be on because they've been out of town picketing when the men are sitting down, haven't been doing anything.
Yeah, well, suppose you put men on this thing. All right. That's right. Let's put men on this thing. No.
Could I say something?
When we go down there, I can go out and tell that man I paid $216 taxes, and these people down here, we are paying them to do a job. And we're going to let them know we're paying them to do a job and we want it done. These are local Natchez citizens, tax-paying, voting citizens. Then that gives the thing a little weight.
Another thing I might add, in my own mind anyway, it just doesn't make sense in the space of 24 hours to try to recruit from the small group that we might have present today, a permanent committee.
Maybe I don't understand. I think this committee here, we get, and we hope will be a permanent committee to represent people until someone want to resign. Somebody, they can always add to a committee. Yeah, I think you have a cross section of everybody here. You don't have everybody here. You have a cross section of all. You have laymen, you have businessmen, you have ministers.
But I think we should make provision for adding to our committee, and we find out before we go down how many.
Because too many people talking at one time just won't make much headway.
What's going on now doesn't make sense. No. That's right. It really does not. Because these men, all they are doing, they're going to be representing the different proposals that we're going to make up now. That's all they're going there for, regardless of who they are. We're going to make our proposal here now.
All right. Let me say this, y'all. I want to be as politically correct as I can because I don't want to group any group of people together. I don't want to say that it's all of any group of people, but let me say this, y'all. It is my belief. It's just my belief. I don't know this to be fact. It is my belief. It is my belief that Black men in this time thought that they had a leg to stand on and they could stand nose to nose with these clear people, but they knew in their heart of hearts they couldn't, because if they could, then if they were, listen, this is about to sound bad. I'm trying to choose my words wisely. I really am, because I don't want to offend nobody, because I don't believe that this is a whole group of anybody. I'm talking about in this particular setting. If Black men were as powerful as they were, then we wouldn't have been where we were, because they would have stood up at the front lines and all of this would not be here. Like, we wouldn't be here because Black men would have stood up shoulder to shoulder, nose to nose with the clear man and be like, nope, this ain't gonna happen because we gonna do what we got to do to protect these people. Now, the Black women during this time are doing all of the leg work. It was Fannie Lou Hamer, a Black woman, who went down there in front of all them clear people, the Democrat Party, and said what she said and brought out what was going on. But I believe, and again, I don't know this to be fact. This is just my theory. This is what I'm gathering from what I'm looking at. It was Black men who were under the false guise that they had just as much power and just as much leadership in other communities, but they knew that that wasn't true, because if that was true, we wouldn't be where we are. See, it's a subconscious thing. On the conscious, they felt like, I'm a man, I could stand up. But if you were such a man, why are we here, Ike? Why are we here? You get it? And like the young brother said, it's them women and them kids who be on that picket line. Let's hear from them. And what's the first thing this man get up and say? They need to be a man up there. Well, sir, if a man was going to be solving all these issues, why is the women and the children on the picket line, sir? Sir. Misogynoir and bigotry and all that stuff plays a part of the divide of all people, not just Black people, of all people. But in this situation, Black men, this is just to me, We done heard multiple people on this say that it was the women and the children out there. They had to hold a whole town hall meeting with the men to say, I need y'all to at least come protect us if you're not going to march. But now when it's time to go down to the clear, man, it's got to be a man. Where was your antennas when they were sticking water hoses and dogs on these damn churn? And again, this is not all places. I'm talking about in this particular situation right here. This one. I'm not talking about all of them. Because if you look at history, they had men and all of that stuff in the civil rights movement. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this one we talking about right here. Where was your antennas when we need you? Now it's time to go talk to the clear man. You feel like you're a man and you can stand up to him, but you know subconsciously you can't, because if you could, we wouldn't be here. Are we tracking? I don't know. That's just me. I don't know.
Right. What we're going to do, I think we should tell what we want them to go down and say. That's right. So now let's start giving, let's not ask for too much. Let's ask for about 8 or 10 things we know we can get. The thing that's most pressing. Now you got to be reasonable, and ain't no point being unreasonable. Now let's ask for things that we want and want some action on immediately.
First thing, if it's possible, to put on now that the mayor and the board of aldermen denounce all radical organizations, whether it's Ku Klux Klan or any other radical organization.
Negro police. Yeah. Let's get 12.
Police protection at all schools.
Police protection. We got that on.
Now the women and the children did all the work. And these men gonna come in the fourth quarter, almost ready to go to overtime. And now y'all gonna go down there and ask the people for demands. Now y'all gonna go get y'all gonna make up the demands. Y'all not even consulting with the people out there in doing the work. Y'all gonna go down there and give the demands. Girl, if I was a black woman and I was out there busting my ass and almost getting my head popped off behind this shit, I would have told that whole goddamn meeting up, bitch. Y'all gonna meet in the fucking woods, bitch. And if I catch y'all out there, I'm burning down the trees. Ain't no motherfucking way. See, women were different. You know what I'm saying? We different now than they was back then. This would send me through a rage. Do you hear me? This would send me through a freaking rage. I'm out here, me and my churn, getting bit by dogs, getting water hose sprayed on us, and you motherfuckers gonna sit into a meeting and talk about what y'all gonna go down there and say, bitch. You gonna limp down there, but you ain't gonna walk at that point. Because there's no freaking way. That would have enraged. It's enraging me now, and this is 2024. This is in 65. But in 24, I'm mad. I'm livid. Like I was out there with the girls. I'm mad like it was me and my churn out there on the picket line. And now all of a sudden, y'all gonna be the ones on the front line. I'm mad. I'm telling you, it could have very well been me and my churn out there.
I think one important area that we're forgetting, and that's the equal distribution of tax funds and public funds.
The improvement of Negro neighborhoods.
I don't believe we even got a telegram.
This is United Press calling.
Uh-huh.
Is this the NAACP office?
Yes, it is.
Tom, has the committee come back from the mayor's office yet?
Well, no, it hasn't.
I see.
Oh, yes, it has. I see they're coming in now.
Well, do you have any word in it?
You know, and we don't know what has been accepted or rejected or what their reaction was yet. So the chairman hasn't come up either.
The father got on the committee just to say. The priest.
Yeah.
He couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop it. He took it over. He didn't take it over, but we all lent our side.
He wasn't a spokesman, or
well, he wasn't exactly, but he's promoted.
yeah, we didn't need him in election. We got to
No, but I got to stay kind of clear of that. But all of us were able to drive our points home. And on Wednesday night, we have another meeting. And to say they're going to work on every one of the questions on the list. And we'll give the complete answer and all that kind of thing. And we had several close-up with some of the aldermen afterward. That's right. After the meeting. And I'm of course, I'm an optimist anyway, but I'm very enthused.
Oh, yeah, all of us, everybody, yeah, real good.
everybody in the main club that don't feel, that
It
feel
feel
bad
much
about
better
it.
with the reception. I don't know what the outcome was, but it wasn't any hostile reception.
Did they say Mr. today?
We brought to point out, they're going to do it so far as the mayor and board of aldermen is concerned. But they will not be able to direct people what to do with that privately.
I know.
But so far as official from the mayor and board of aldermen, they said that's one of the things that they're going to work on. They said,
Work on.
well, I mean, you know,
Yeah,
right.
But as long as they do it first, then other people follow. I mean,
You know good, and I know. See, because you just smiling because he gave you a piece of bread and toast, and I don't.
See this lady here? I love her. She about to get them together. She said, see, you just smiling because he done gave you a piece of bread. Now all of a sudden, woo. I like this lady. Watch this lady.
Yeah, you read what I'm saying? See, you just as happy as a lamb because he been sweet to you today. No,
Now, look,
he just happy. He just happy. Let me tell you
these
something.
are things we could get right now. These are things we could get right now. But we
Why can't
that's
they
why
give this
that's
no
why
one?
we accept this shit. We told them we want comments about all of it.
He can't denounce the claim.
Keep less things off your brain if you possibly can. Because pressure to get you, nerve pressure to get you.
I think that the men are gonna have to give a little more consideration.
We did too. We bring a lady along with us for second when we come back. We told them
See, because very honestly, and you know it, John, it's these ladies, people like Mrs. Duncan, Mrs. McNeely, Mrs. Mazik, Mrs. Jackson. These, I don't know, they didn't know about a meeting, but they are the people who are really getting the job done around here.
No, you got to
Sure, but I
it's
mean,
not who gets the job done, it's the one who can represent you down there.
I mean, but there are some of these ladies intelligent enough.
So we don't want to. We don't be men like them. If we're Negro,
Yeah,
not good enough men to meet those people.
If you're gonna be a man, I think you should be a man always. Now, okay, nobody was being arrested out on the picket line, and the ladies were the ones who brought off those dogs. Well, then, I think that why you be so defensive about it. Not what? Just name me one of them whose name is on the school desegregation thing. Not one of them walked out there on the picket line. And over half of them never came. And yet when it's time to go around to the city hall, they can sit down there and make decisions. How can they make decisions when they really don't know what's going on?
Ooh. That makes me want to say, wade in the water. Sissy, not one of them. Do you hear me? What sis said? Not one of them was there. Not one of them know what was going on down there on the school desegregation list. Not one of them on that picking line, yet they want to be the ones to cat their ass down there. You saw the man, it's not about what's going on, it's who can represent you down there. Negro, please. Negro, make it make sense. Now, again, this is not all the civil rights movement. I'm speaking on this one in particular that we looking at. Since she got their ass together. She got the ass she should. She got their ass together. Did she read them straight for the boot? She read them niggas to pieces. Yes, she did. Y'all ain't out here helping do a goddamn thing. And then all of a sudden, now it's time to go in front of white folk. Now all of a sudden, here y'all go. In so many words, she was saying, y'all men, go lay down. Please, sirs, go lay down. Y'all ain't did a mammy cotton picking thing. And now all of a sudden you want to be representation. You ain't even got the right shit on the list. That's what she told them. You ain't even got the right stuff on the list. And you want to be my representation down there? Then what she told him, oh yeah, and then he done gave you a couple of little 1-2 yin-yings. Now you just as happy as a lamb, girl. You can't make this shit up, you know? Girl, sis cut up with them as she should. As she should. Sis cut up with them as she should. Now, I'm going to go over just a bit more, and then we're going to stop here, and we're going to have to pick back up next Friday, because this is a long documentary, okay? Nigga said he was a 1965 Dusty, girl. Y'all crazy.
Here is a repeat of an earlier news bulletin from WNAT. The mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Natchez, at a special meeting this afternoon, has taken strong action to preserve peace and order in Natchez by passing a resolution invoking a citywide curfew, effective at 10 p.m. each night until further notice. Beginning tonight, no persons will be allowed on any public highway, street, or sidewalk within the city between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., with the exception of persons going directly from home to work or directly from work to home. The only exceptions will be medical doctors and transits.
So no one's supposed to be on the street tonight except the Klans. Yeah. I'll bet. I'll be willing to bet, Lord. No one. That the Klan is having a meeting tonight. Yeah. Let's go back up to the meeting. See what's going on. What the thing they should talk on tonight is what we're going to do if they doesn't give us anything.
We're going to get these things. Now we're going to meet it. We're going, as I said before, I believe your applause, okay, that we're going to give our committee a chance. We're going to give the city of Natchez a chance to prove to us by Wednesday that they mean business. Now, if they're going to continue to give us the old runaround as they have 100 years, then we're going to let them know Thursday morning.
Charles Evers is pacifying them folk. He knows good and goddamn well he has no plans to do anything. Them people, instead of saying they, remember he said they're going to work with you, we're going to hear you out. Instead of them doing anything to further black people's agenda, what did they do? They imposed a curfew that said can't nobody but emergency people and the KKK could be out on the streets after 9 o'clock. They just put a curfew out there, girl. And Mega Evers is getting these people, pacifying them, getting them all riled up. Oh, yeah, because if they don't give us what we want, don't worry about it. We're going to go show them down there Thursday morning. He has no objective to do that. None. He is a paid plant and agent who's there strictly to continue the divide and calm black people down. That is why he is here, Ike. That is why he is here. Now, we're going to put a pin in that because this gets deep, okay? We're going to put a pin in that because this gets deep. But I've been wanting to go over this documentary. I think it's super powerful. It's something that we need to talk about because this kind of shows what has been going on in the past. I don't want to read it in the book. Let me see. You get it? Now, mind you, Natasha Nicole, this is not Mega Evers. This is his brother. And I do, in my conspiracy theory mind, I find it very odd that as soon as Mega Evers was unalive, the brother was shot to prominency down there at the NAACP. Coincidence? If y'all believe in that, sure. You know what I mean? But I personally don't, But anyways, I'm going to put a pin in that and we're going to come back next Friday. And I want to put another you remember how today we put Fannie Lou Hamer first, and Fannie Lou Hamer was talking about how the grassroots and her and the people of the city of Natchez and all those other surrounding areas was out there knees and boots to the ground trying to get trying to get these voting rights passed. And did you see how the NAACP came in and co-opted the whole shit? And now he's over there pacifying these people, trying to show them, hey, we don't need to go crazy. Let's just, calm down or whatever. And we gonna get him Thursday though. He has no plans to go get these people Thursday because he is only there to do the job he was paid to do. Martin Luther King, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SNCC, all of those people were paid to keep you calm down. It's all a ploy. He has and we're going to see it when we get into it next week. He has absolutely zero intention on getting them people actual rights. He's just there to calm them down, okay? This is Medgar Evers' brother along with the NAACP. Next week when we come back on this, we're going to bring somebody else who was actually doing something around this time. Real people. We don't want to hear what they said. Real people. And we're going to get them to see what was happening in real life. And then we're going to go see how this corroborates. We're going to even bring Malcolm back up here for when Malcolm said that they were paid informers. We're going to bring him back up here. But we need to be listen. The reason why I'm sharing you what happened in the past is because they say nothing is new under the sun. The same thing they did back then is the same thing they doing right now. All your activists, all the people that you think is just this, that, and the third, they are plants. Don't trust them. They are plants. You get it? So you can sit up there and say, but I like this person. This person is okay. You can like them, but they're plants. Okay. But I enjoyed everybody over here for Educational Friday. Y'all have been nothing short of amazing. I do want to say this. Shout out to everybody earlier who sent me a cash app. I forgot to shout them out, so I'll do that right now. Thank you, Natasha, for the cash app. Appreciation for Educational Fridays. Glad I made it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, April, for the cash app. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jen, for the cash app, for watching with my mom from hospital. She's praying for this, or I'm praying for your mom, Jen. Tell your mom I said I'm praying for her, and I pray that she gets very well very soon, okay? Praying for Jen's mom. Thank you, Steph, for the cash out for help with homework, AI dog. That was from the last live. You had to be there. Thank you for the cash app, China doll, for gratitude as always. Thank you for the cash app from Fifi. Appreciate you, sis. Thank you, Fifi. I appreciate you. Thank you for the cash app from Harlem Body Butters. Educational Friday. Thank you for Educational Fridays. Thank you so much. And like I say, you guys, we're going to continue to go through this, but we have to understand these things are literally done by design, okay? They're done by design. Thank you, Cookies, Nails, and Beauty. You do look dusty. You do look dusty. Well, thank you for the cash app to send me that. I appreciate it. I'm a dusty bitch. Send 10 more so I could be even more dustier. Thank you. Matter of fact, just in case you wanna, let me see. Hold on. I got you, Fat. Send 10 more and call me Dusty again. I appreciate it. It is Dusty, whatever you say. And also, thank you, Ruby, GG, thank you for the cash app for love. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who pulled up. Like I said, nothing is new under the sun. Please be here next Friday. We're gonna go further expand into this, okay? I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna jolt y'all up out of here, and I will see y'all next Friday. Enjoy y'all weekend. I'm gonna go live tomorrow at some point too. But as far as like the educational piece, we'll be back next Friday to do the same thing. I love y'all. Do something nice for each other and pray for each other, and actually do something. They say pray faith, so I'm sorry, without works is dead. So you got to do something behind that prayer. I love y'all. See y'all later. Catch y'all tomorrow on some other stuff. Bye.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. Come on. That's right. Okay. Can you hear me now? Oh, let's go. It's your boy Big Chew, the voice of the beat. You know what I want? Blaze up. Come on, Blaze up.
It's the beat for me.
Wah 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 wah. For your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we are. For your boy. For your boy. Also for your boy. Fix it for your boy. Drop it for your lift it up. Then it bust it open, lift it up. Yeah. Come on, lift it up. Then it bust it open for your B-O-Y. For your rockin' for your lift it up, baby. Mix it with your bustin' up. Come on, Blaze, you know. Drop me a nasty beat.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo doll time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.